Okay, we're looking at coordinate planes. We looked very briefly at the quadrants the other day when we did our exercise where we walked around and wrote in various things about our word problems. The quadrants are always labeled Quadrant 1, Quadrant 2, Quadrant 3, and Quadrant 4. And I know that's a little weird because we want this to be Quadrant 1, but it's just not. It's not the way that we do it in math. So Quadrant 1 will always be this quadrant, and your numbers will always be positive. Okay? Quadrant 3 will always be down in the lower left corner. The numbers will always be negative. Okay, and we'll talk about these two in a minute. They're both positive and negative, and we'll talk about those in a second. The coordinate plane is basically two number lines. So we have one number line and two number lines that intersect at 0. This is where 0 would be, right here in the middle. On a coordinate plane, we call that point the 0 equals the origin of the coordinate plane. It's the beginning, the origin of the coordinate plane. And then we use number lines. We call the one that we're used to, the one that runs horizontal, we call the x-axis. The one that runs vertically up and down, we call the y-axis. Okay? And so what we do is we use coordinate planes to plot different points. And so if you look on here, you'll see these points. We have a point here, and it has these numbers out to the side. This is called a coordinate point. These are the points where the x value and the y value intersect. And it is always written as x, y. So this is x, and this is y. Our x value on this line and our y value on this line intersect on this grid right there at that point. Okay? This is our x value and our y value. Our x value, 0, intersects -3 right here at this point. This is our x and our y value. Our x value, -2, intersects our y value of -1 right there. We'll get used to this. We'll do a lot of practicing of this, of finding coordinate points. The big thing to remember is they are always, always, always x and y. So what I want you to do is on your coordinate plane, I want you to highlight or circle the x values blue and the y values yellow. Now the truth is, I don't care what colors you use. What I really want you to do is do x values, well, y values are yellow. And I actually don't have a blue marker, so I'm going to use pink for blue, and then x values pink. But this way I know what color you're going to highlight. You can use colored pencil, highlighter, whatever you want to use is fine. So I'm going to highlight my x values pink. And then I'm going to highlight my y values yellow. Just so I get used to that XY thing. Okay? And just like on number lines, if you keep reading, we don't have to use whole numbers. So we're going to go back and we're going to highlight these coordinate points. We're going to highlight our x values pink this time, and our y values yellow. So if you want to use blue, use blue. If you don't have a blue, that's fine. Use a different color. Just two colors. So I'm going to highlight all of my y values yellow. And I'm going to highlight all of my x values pink. Okay, so now I know that these are x and y. I might even go back and put x and y over them just to get used to seeing it like this. X-axis, y-axis. X-axis, y-axis. Okay, so now we're going to actually plot a few points. We've got 5 points that we're going to plot. And they're down here at the bottom. They're labeled A through E. We're going to plot these points on our graph up here. The first point that we're going to plot is -2, 3. So I'm going to label this X and Y so I don't forget. I might even highlight them if I'm not really if I'm having a hard time seeing it. X, Y, X, Y. Make sure your Y's don't look too much like your X's. It's easy to do. X, Y. Okay. I'm going to start with -2. So my -2 is right here. That's my X value. I'm going to go ahead and put my finger there. On my Y, I'm going to +3. Now these two are going to intersect right here. And I'm going to label that dot point A. Go ahead and pause the video, take a minute, and plot the rest of your points. And E is a little bit tricky. 1.5. So 1, they meet right here. E. Generally, we don't put all the dots on the lines, but while you're learning to do it, that's not a bad way to learn. So we have A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, and we will practice that quite a bit.